Um, for today's video, I would like to talk about something which has been pretty much something I've been thinking about in some way, or it has affected me in many ways over the past decade, you could say, even, well, pretty much all my life. From the age of 5 years onwards. Let's start at the beginning, I guess. Well, beginning, current situation. I have a surgery date in 2.5 months for a reconstructive vaginal surgery whereby my existing vagina will be connected to the perineum. Slight complication, trade-off, whatever you want to call it, is that because I want to keep the male side as well, basically the penis, there is not enough skin to create labia. This, in brief, means that it won't look like what people would think of when they think of a vagina, or what they used to seeing, for most women at least. It will just be a hole. That's a compromise, because the alternative was no surgery, or to give up the penis, and with that basically me as a hermaphrodite. It's an impossible choice pretty much, but you go with what seems the best at that point. And that's one decision I had to make now a few days ago that really made me think about just how important sexuality is, that you cannot separate a person, a human being, from sexuality. It's just in no way it's possible. Because thinking about it, sexuality, many people have bad experiences with it. I do, others do. It's so incredibly common, and many want to get rid of it. Because it hurts them. It's so many things about it which actually is hurtful, harmful, painful. Many bad memories associated with it, and you just want to get rid of it. I mean, I do too. There are many reasons why I would love to just have no urges, feelings, anything like that anymore. But thinking about that, I also realized that if you go down that path, then the next step is basically you still got a physical body. That's still sexuality. I mean, but if you say, well, okay, that doesn't matter to me, then the next step is that you also give up being a woman, in my case, or for others, giving up being a man, or in my case as well, giving up being a hermaphrodite. It's still part of your identity, it's part of what you are. But you say, I don't care about it, because I don't care about sexuality, so I don't care about physical sex. It's all irrelevant to me, so you're no longer a man, a woman, hermaphrodite, whatever. You cannot be that anymore because you don't care about it. And that just leaves you with being a human. But can you actually still be a human at that point? Because how do you define being human? I mean, unless you go to the most generic kind of form, a human being is still divided into the whole biological facts, which is just man, woman, intersex, whatever, the whole collection. In the end, we are, even as human beings, defined through sexuality. It's an essential part of who we are. So if you can't just be a human with no sexuality, it's not possible. Once you get to the point where you actually think you can just be a human and not care about anything else, you'll notice that it's not possible. the next step is to just not be human anymore. You're just basically a floating brain, and there is no body. Separating the mind from the body and ignoring all of the physiological aspects of said body. Is it realistic? No, it's not. Been there, done that. So, when all is said and done, and what I've gone through the past, well, decades, it's just sexuality is important, but it's also really risky. For me, I know that I have been harmed directly via sexuality because I have my body. I went to hospitals about my physical sex within my sexuality. I got pretty much just attacked, ridiculed, brainwashed, everything, a lot of harm. That of course directly went into the next step above that, which is that gender role, you could say. Man, woman, hermaphrodite, whatever. So, and after that, you as a human being gets attacked, harmed. And that's where actually the most of the harm was done to me as a person. That's why my PTSD is so bad, because it was not just an intellectual discussion about my physical sex or gender role or something like that. It was me as a human being, as everything, which got attacked with a hedgehog defense. This also shows that the only way I can actually deal with this issue, deal with my PTSD, and actually heal and recover from the past decade, is by fixing the thing there way at the beginning, way at the bottom, the most fundamental thing, which is the body, physical sex, sexuality. Because that's at the core of being a human being. And that's what I am doing with this surgery. My hope for the surgery was that it would complete it fully. But from the looks of it, it will be a partial solution, because no labia means that it's not fully complete, and I will still need to look for another solution there, if there is one. Of course I would have liked just finishing it once, and because can I really just say, okay, I've got a hole there and that's everything? No, you can't, because it still comes down to sexuality. Physical sex, is it complete? Can you live with it? Is it really what you feel is right? If it's not, then you have a problem. It has to be fixed. Because if it's not fixed, you get into psychological problems which work their way upwards to every aspect of you as a person, as a human being, as everything. So at this point I am also looking for second opinions, possibilities for a second surgery after this one. Just to look at everything, because this year I would really like to actually finish this, and it's been over 10 years. This is the 11th year that I'm actively working on fixing this problem, and it would be really nice if it actually finished. So, without sexuality being something you can actually feel okay with, you as a person cannot be happy, I guess. That's one of the things that has been bothering me for so long. because that's one of the main reasons why I often say that I feel like a freak, because I have this dissonance between what I feel my body should be like, what my body is like. I've got a birth defect. It's not being a hermaphrodite, it's not having an intersex condition. My birth defect is something which regular women also can have, which is namely that my vagina did not develop properly. It happens, it can be fixed. If it gets fixed, then I can go on with my life. Simple as that. Can I give it up? Say, okay, won't have a useful vagina, whatever. It's not really relevant to me as a person, I can just ignore it, forget about it. That's not how it works, because in the end, humankind, humanity, society, and individuals, in the end it's all about sexuality. If you start tearing at it, if you just are like, well, it's just a loose thread, I'll just remove it and I can move on, you just end up ripping the whole fabric, what makes an individual apart. And that should not happen. So, wish me luck, I guess. Until next time.